Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood, and today we're going to be learning all about our senses. But before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell fact from fiction. Consider this. We've all been taught since kindergarten that human beings have 5 senses: sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing. But you often hear people claim they have a 6th sense about things. It usually implies some sort of magical intuition or psychic ability. But what if I told you that having a 6th sense isn't rare? All of us have a 6th, 7th, even 8th sense. Just a lot of us aren't aware of it. What do you think? Is this an actual fact or too good to be true? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Our word for today is synesthesia. That's SYNESTHESIA. Synesthesia is a fascinating neurological condition where the stimulation of one sense leads to an automatic, involuntary experience in a second sense. Basically, one sense triggers another. For example, a person with synesthesia might hear a specific musical note and instantly see a flash of a color like blue. Or they might read a word on a page and simultaneously taste a flavor. The word comes from the Greek roots syn, meaning together, and aesthesis, meaning sensation. So it literally translates to joint sensation. It isn't a disorder or hallucination, it's just a unique way the brain is wired. In a typical brain, sensory paths are kept separate. Visual data goes to the visual cortex, auditory data goes to the auditory cortex. But in a synesthete's brain, there's increased crosstalk or connectivity between these distinct areas, allowing them to experience the world in a multi-layered, interconnected way. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about our senses. Number 1, your eyes actually see the world upside down, but your brain flips it for you. When light rays reflect off an object and enter your eye, they pass through the cornea and the lens, which refracts or bends the light to focus it onto the retina. Because of the convex shape of your lens, when the image is projected onto the retina, the photosensitive screen in the back of your eye, it's actually inverted or upside down. If you look at a tree, the pattern of photons hitting the photoreceptor cells, like the rods and cones in your eyes, depicts the leaves at the bottom and the tree trunk at the top. But we don't perceive the world upside down because the brain is a very sophisticated image processor. This raw, inverted visual data travels as electrical impulses through the optic nerve to the visual cortex located in the occipital lobe at the back of your brain. The brain's visual cortex instantly interprets the orientation, combines images from both eyes to create depth, and flips the image right side up. This neurological correction happens so quickly, your conscious mind never even realizes that your eyes are actually sending you an upside-down picture. Number 2. They say sense is most closely related to memory because your sense of smell actually has a direct connection to memories and emotions. The olfactory bulb, the brain structure responsible for processing smells, has a unique anatomy compared to other senses. Touch, vision, and hearing first pass through the thalamus, the brain's central relay station, before they get processed. But olfactory signals bypass the thalamus and travel directly to the amygdala and hippocampus, the centers for emotion and memory. This direct neural pathway makes scent the most chemically evocative sense we possess. The olfactory receptors in your nose detect airborne chemical molecules and send signals straight to the limbic system, which is the primitive part of the brain responsible for behavior and emotional responses. This connection provided an evolutionary advantage for early humans, allowing them to instantly recall the emotional weight of a smell, fear from a predator, or comfort and joy from food, without needing to slowly analyze the threat first. Number 3, they say your tastes change as you get older, and that's kind of literally true. Your taste buds are constantly reinventing themselves. If you've ever burned your tongue on hot cocoa, you know it hurts, but you also know the damage isn't permanent. That's because your gustatory cells, your taste cells, are able to rapidly regenerate. The average human has thousands of taste buds housed inside tiny bumps called papillae, and the receptor cells within these buds are some of the fastest growing in the human body. Basal cells, which sit at the bottom of the taste bud, act as stem cells that divide and differentiate into new mature taste cells every 10 to 14 days. This constant cycle of cellular turnover ensures that your sense of taste remains sharp throughout your life, despite the daily wear and tear of thermal damage from hot food or chemical abrasion from acidic foods. The taste signals themselves are carried by 3 different cranial nerves: the facial nerve, the glossopharyngeal nerve, and the vagus nerve. So even if one nerve is damaged, you'll still have your sense of taste. But as we age, the rate of basal cell division slows down, and that's why we become less sensitive to different tastes as we get older. Number 4, human beings actually can't physically feel wetness. Now, this might sound hard to believe, but bear with me. Human skin actually has 0 hydroreceptors, meaning we have no specific nerve endings designed to detect water or liquid. Instead, the sensation of wetness is a sensory illusion created by the brain. To identify water, your somatosensory cortex, the part of your brain that processes touch, has to combine distinct inputs from thermoreceptors, which are sensitive to temperature, and mechanoreceptors, which sense pressure and texture. When you touch a puddle, your nerves actually report to the brain a combination of cold due to the rapid evaporation of water on your skin and the light pressure and slickness. Your brain synthesizes these separate data points and interprets the specific pattern as wet. This is why if you touch some very cold, smooth surfaces like a metal bowl, your brain might briefly trick you into thinking the metal's wet. The temperature and texture signals mimic the pattern of water so closely that your brain creates that wetness illusion. And our 5th and final fun fact for today: hearing is actually your fastest sense. While light travels significantly faster than sound, the brain actually processes auditory or sound information faster than it processes visual information. It takes the brain about 200 milliseconds to process a visual image, but it can recognize and react to a sound in as little as 50 milliseconds. This incredible speed is attributable to the mechanical nature of the auditory system. Sound waves physically vibrate the tympanic membrane, the eardrum, and the ossicles, tiny bones in your ear, which triggers hair cells in the cochlea to fire an electrical signal almost instantly via the auditory nerve. This speed is a crucial survival mechanism closely tied to the acoustic startle reflex located in the brainstem. If you hear something like a loud crack or a heavy object falling behind you, your brain processes the sound and triggers your motor neurons to make you flinch or duck before your visual cortex has even finished rendering the image of the threat. And if you think about it, this kind of makes sense from an evolutionary standpoint because our early ancestors would need to hear subtle clues like the rustling in bushes before they could see a predator jumping out at them. While our eyes give us a detailed, high-resolution map of the world, our ears act as the fastest biological warning system, effectively bypassing higher-level thinking to keep us safe. Now for some news you can use. The world today is heavily centered on screens, and all that screen time can be bad for your eyes. Eye strain occurs because the ciliary muscles in your eyes have to contract tightly to maintain focus on objects that are close to you, and all that muscle contraction leads to fatigue. A good suggestion is to follow the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, you should take a break from your screen and look at something 20 feet away for at least 20 seconds. This works because looking at a distant object relaxes the ciliary muscles, allowing the lens of your eye to flatten out and recover from the tension of near focus. By consciously engaging your distance vision, you prevent the muscles from locking up, keeping your vision sharp and reducing the likelihood of tension headaches. Now for the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked, could it be that you, me, and everyone you know has a sixth, seventh, even eighth sense? That's a fact. While the classic five, sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing, are the ones we talk about the most, modern neurologists confirm that humans have significantly more senses. For example, we have a vital sense called proprioception, which uses sensors in your joints and muscles to tell your brain where your body parts are in space without looking at them. We also have equilibrioception, our sense of balance via the inner ear, thermoception, our ability to sense temperature changes, and nociception, a dedicated system just for sensing pain. So you definitely have a sixth sense. And a seventh, eighth, and ninth. Just a little reminder that you and everyone else is a lot more complex and amazing than we often realize. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about the senses with me today, and be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.